The next chapter is public finance in India. It is the lengthiest chapter. Public finance में first we need to talk about the government. What is government? Government is a formal or informal institution created by people in a specific region to perform various functions such as protection from external attacks, protection from private property of the people, etc. So basically government do two types of job. The first one is obligatory function and the second one is optional function. Obligatory function includes protection from external attacks, maintaining internal law and order is obligatory function of a government, while the optional function of a government is to provide education, health and social security to its people. Okay. Now let's have a look upon the meaning of public finance. It is made up of two words, public and finance. Public is collective for individual living within an administrative territory, while finance means simply income and expenditure. So if we club these two words together, it means कि income and expenditure of the government for fulfilling its objective is public finance. So definition of public finance given by Professor Findlay Shiras is public finance is a study of principle underlying the spending and raising of funds by the public authorities. Now let's have a look upon the difference between public finance and private finance. This question you might get for difference between for 4 marks. So public finance objective is to offer maximum social satisfaction, while public finance is objective is to fulfill their private needs. Public finance has high degree of credit in the market, while credit of a private individual is limited. In public finance, government can print note through Reserve Bank of India, while in private finance, private individual does not enjoy such right. Public finance is more elastic, while there is not much scope in the private finance. Public finance has tremendous effect on Indian economy, while private finance has only marginal effect. In public finance, government first decide the volume and the different ways of expenditure, and in private finance, individual decide as per his income and then decide its expenditure. Now let's look at the structure of public finance. So public finance can be split into 5 parts. The first one is public expenditure, second public revenue, third public debt, fourth fiscal policy and fifth one financial administration. Public expenditure include revenue expenditure, capital expenditure, developmental expenditure, non-developmental expenditure. Revenue expenditure are the expenditure which occur again and again, and they are day-to-day function of the government. For example, providing salaries, administration expenditure. Capital expenditure are the expenditure which occur once, which include huge investment. For example, repayment of government loan or buying up of technology. Then developmental expenditure. Developmental expenditure are productive in nature. They are done for research, health, education, industrial development, etc. Non-developmental expenditure are not productive in nature, but it is important to do such kind of expenditure. For example, war expenditure. Now, reason for growth in public expenditure. The first and foremost reason is increase in the activities of the government. Nowadays, government is playing more active role for the society, and because of that, total expenditure is rising. Second, rapid increase in the population. As you know, now India is the topmost country in the world who has the highest population. With increase in the population, the burden comes on government to fulfill the need of people, and so government has to do public expenditure. The third one, growth of urbanization, which means movement of people from rural area to urban area. And for the development of urban area, government needs to provide certain facilities which increase the expenditure. Next, increase in defense expenditure. In modern times, defense expenditure are much high. We are continuously facing threat from our neighboring countries. So, the overall expenditure is rising. Then spread of democracy. Since people are aware about their right and duties and also know that what government should do for them, it compels government to work for them and increase public expenditure. Next is inflation. Inflation is rising every year. With the rise in price in the value and the fall in the value of currency, expenditure is also rising. The seventh one is industrial development. Since the entire population, or you can say major part of working population, depend upon the industrial sector. So, the growth of industrial sector is very much necessary, for which government has to do public expenditure. The next one is disaster management. Now and then country is facing calamities like earthquake, flood, cyclone, pandemic like COVID, for which government has to have disaster management system, for which government need to spend a lot. So, because of these reasons, the public expenditure is increasing in India. The second part of public finance is public revenue. Public revenue can be split into two parts. The first one is tax and the second is non-tax. Tax can be further split into two parts, direct tax and indirect tax. As per Professor Seligman, a tax is a compulsory contribution from the person to the government without reference to a special benefit conferred. So, tax is direct and indirect. Direct tax can be proportionate, progressive or regressive, while indirect tax in India is GST. The non-tax revenue sources for government is fees, fines, penalties, special assessment, gifts, grant, donation, special levies, borrowing and prices of public goods and services. The third part of public finance is public debt. Public debt can be internal or external. Internal debt are the debt which are raised within the economy. They are voluntary in nature. They use domestic currency and they are less complex for management, while external debts are the debt which we raise outside the economy, that is from World Bank or IMF. They are voluntary in nature. They use foreign currency and they are more complex to manage. The next part of public finance is fiscal policies. Fiscal policies can be of public expenditure, public revenue and public debt. And the last part is financial administration. Financial administration include revenue expenditure and debit policy, overall growth of the country. So, while writing this chapter, please make sure that you are drawing the structure of public finance at a glance. It is important to draw this diagram and then you are supposed to explain it.